What's the most country thing you've ever pulled off? My grandfather trapped a thief with a tractor. What's the most country thing you've ever seen someone pull off? Mine started because a local punk decided to steal from my family one too many times out in the backwoods of rural Tennessee. My grandfather owned about 50 acres of rolling timber and pasture, and out there, everybody knew everybody. Most folks were decent, hard-working neighbors, but one guy down the gravel road always seemed to find things that weren't his. Tools vanished from the shed, diesel went missing from the tractor tank, scrap metal disappeared overnight. You could never prove a thing. You'd just walk outside one morning and notice something was gone. My granddad always said the same thing, calm as ever. A thief eventually gets lazy, son. I didn't understand that until one humid Saturday morning when we walked out to the front gate and found the heavy steel chain cut clean through. They hadn't taken much. An old rusted utility trailer, a couple $100 in cedar fence posts, 3 red gas cans, but it was enough to make my granddad stone cold furious. The sheriff came out around noon, snapped a few pictures, shrugged, and admitted there wasn't much he could do without eyewitnesses or serial numbers. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. A few evenings later, Granddad asked if I wanted to help him check the perimeter fence. We drove the property line for almost an hour, barely talking. Then he stopped near the lower creek. Hidden behind a wall of briars was a fresh set of heavy tire tracks. He didn't smile. He didn't get excited. He just nodded once and said, "Told you he'd get lazy." Instead of calling the sheriff again, we played a game of patience. Every Friday night, the whole community knew my granddad and I drove into town for the high school football game. Only this Friday, we didn't go near the stadium. We parked the truck behind an old metal machinery shed, out of sight from the county road, killed every light, and waited in total silence for almost 3 hours. Around 10:30, we heard it. A pickup creeping through our broken gate, headlights off. Just like Granddad predicted, it rolled straight back to the stack of cedar fence posts by the barn. 2 guys climbed out and started loading wood into the truck bed like they owned the place. Granddad looked at me in the dark and said, "Don't move an inch." Then he calmly walked to his old farm tractor, fired up the diesel engine, and drove it straight toward the gate, not at the thieves, but behind their truck. Before they even understood what was happening, he'd already dropped the front loader bucket across the only way out. They came sprinting back yelling, but there was nowhere left to go. No fist fight, no guns, nothing out of a movie. Just 2 guys standing in a dark pasture, staring down a 70-year-old farmer who just boxed them in with a machine 4 times heavier than their truck. Granddad climbed down slow, arms crossed, and said, "Sheriff's about 20 minutes out. Y'all can leave the truck right here and walk home, or you can stay right there." Neither one said a word. One of them bolted, sprinting across the open field into the dark. The other just stood there. Turns out the one who ran was exactly who everyone in town had suspected all along. Deputies picked him up on the highway about an hour later. He'd stepped into a swampy creek trying to dodge their headlights, and his muddy boots left a trail straight to his own front porch. Looking back, I think the most country part of the whole thing wasn't even the tractor. It was that my granddad never yelled, never threatened anybody, never chased cheap revenge. He just understood something simple. Let a thief believe he's smarter than everyone else long enough, and eventually he'll park himself somewhere he can't drive away from.